Woloszyn here with a look at some changes as we get into Christmas, but more so the day after Christmas and some impacts. First, I want to break down what we're going to look at. We're looking at cloudy skies for Christmas Eve, Wednesday, some rain overnight, maybe even some freezing rain. I'll have more on that in just a second. And then as we continue, we are going to be looking at mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies as we move into Christmas Day. Mild conditions, actually cooler than today, but still mild overall. Friday is going to be the day you want to watch. We are looking at snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain all likely as this system rolls on through. Again, meteorologist Marisa Woloszyn here in the 7 First Alert Weather Center, here to give you a look at kind of what we can expect moving into Christmas and after it. So far, we've actually had some great travel weather across the area, which has been awesome. It's once we get into Friday, that's the day that we're looking at, that we could potentially have some problems across the area. You can leave your questions here too, chat below, and let me know what you may be wondering about the forecast. All right, so we are looking at quiet conditions in place right now. We're honestly going to keep it quiet for a majority of the day tomorrow. This is a look at your Wednesday. We're looking at just kind of increasing clouds across the area, still a fair amount of sunshine being filtered by the clouds, at least for the first half of the day, and then it does start to get more overcast as you get towards the later parts of the evening. Now, as we get into tomorrow night, we do have a weak system sliding in from the south. It is mainly going to stay to our south, but it is going to edge in our region. The warm air aloft with the moisture is going to bring us a chance for some rain. Now, it's also going to bring us the chance for maybe some freezing rain. You can see here with the pink, this indicates a mix going on, but because of the thin layer of the warmer air moving in, it's likely going to be, again, freezing rain. So as this moves on through, this is a look at about 11 o'clock tomorrow night, Christmas Eve. So if you can get out and about earlier in the evening, you'll be much better off. If you are going to go to a Christmas Eve service very late, be prepared for potentially a few slippery conditions, mainly south of I-96. Now, as we get into the overnight hours, we'll still keep a few rain showers and even some freezing rain showers, but everything really wraps up by about 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. By the time we get to sunrise Christmas morning, it is going to be much quieter across the area. So I'm not as concerned about these showers for 2 reasons. One, thankfully, they're happening at a time where many of us will not be on the roadways, so that's the good news. And then also overall, they are going to be light. So I'm not expecting really ice accumulations that are going to cause a lot of problems, but there still may be some slick spots out and about. So again, that is Wednesday night or Christmas Eve night into Thursday morning. Now, I'm more concerned about what's to come as we get into your Friday, because this storm system isn't tracking as far to the south. It also has more moisture with it. I'm going to start things off on Thursday at 11 o'clock. So this is Christmas Day, very late in the day. We're still fine. If you're going to something later in the afternoon or even the evening, it's still actually going to be fine all the way through the later parts of that night. Now, as we get into the overnight hours and by Friday morning, we do start to have moisture pushing in. Now, this yet again is also a warm front moving in as a storm system is going to kind of go across the region but kind of go right along the state line. So because of that, we'll be in the warm front, but our temperatures are likely to fall below freezing at the surface by the time we get to a couple hours before sunrise. So because of that, when you have cold air at the surface, you have warm air above it, you have rain that falls, but it touches a surface that's at or below freezing, that leads to some icing going on. And if you have many hours of those conditions, well, you are looking at the potential for ice to accumulate. Now, this is the GFS model, the Global Forecasting System model here, kind of indicating our area being split. You've got the blue area, that's snow. Pink, that is a mix, but again, in this case, it's likely to be more freezing rain than sleet, though there is likely going to be some sleet mixing in, especially the closer to that snow line that you are. And then closer to the state line, we've got the green, and that would be some rain showers. But as the system rolls on through, we do spend a lot of time here in Southeast Michigan in that mixed category, in that freezing kind of rain category, and even some sleet, and that could lead to higher amounts of ice accumulation. Now, not only is this model looking at this, but also the European models indicating this, also looking at some other extended models indicating this as well. And when the storm does develop. The only thing that would potentially change this for us is if it takes a slightly different track. If it goes a little farther to the south, we'd be more on the snowier side of things, or if it traveled a little farther north, we'd be on the rainier side. So there is going to be the storm system that moves through, and it's really just going to be track dependent on what we see. Again, it's looking like as of now, we'll likely have a majority of us looking at a mixture of precipitation in terms of sleet and freezing rain. And then some of us, especially up towards the thumb, it might be more on the snowier side, and then closer to the state line, yes, freezing rain, but then also hopefully warm enough where we do get some rain mixing in. And the reason I'm mostly concerned about this is this storm system, because of the many hours of this kind of freezing rain or sleet, we could be looking at accumulation of ice more than 1/10 of an inch. So about 1/10 of an inch, that really creates problems on the roadways. We're talking slippery driving conditions pretty much everywhere. Of course, crews will be out salting and using de-icer, but it still can create some slippery conditions. But when you see some totals like this, which is closer to 1/3 of an inch, or maybe even a little more, this is when you start to think, okay, well, some tree limbs might start to snap. It kind of depends. It could be weak tree limbs, ones that are already part of a tree that, is dead or something like that. So that added weight of the ice could create some of those issues. Also, there is the potential, of course, for some power outages when you start to add in some ice. Now, with the current expected totals, I don't expect it to be widespread, but know that there is the potential for that as the system comes through. I know Friday, thankfully, is not Christmas Day where a lot of people will be out and about, but still Friday, I know people will be out and about because it's kind of like, what else is there to do on Friday? A lot of people are off of work. So please be careful if you are traveling around the area, not only the morning, but even into the afternoon. We may be struggling to get above the freezing mark, even into the early afternoon, which of course would lead to some problems traveling. If you're planning on going up north, I would hold off and wait later in the day as of right now, at least on Friday, and then potentially maybe have to push your plans to Saturday, because Saturday honestly will be much better travel across the area. So it might be better to have a 4-hour commute up north rather than, an 8-hour commute, because you're taking your time, and there may be issues in that way. So we are looking at, again, this system coming through as we get into Friday with the potential for some accumulating ice across the area. I want to take a look at our 7-day forecast because we are looking at relatively slightly warmer than average temperatures, I will say, for the rest of this week. Now, tomorrow we will drop into the upper 30s. We'll have more clouds across the area. I also forgot to mention we may have some flurries, better chance for some moisture farther to the north. No accumulation, though, with the flurries. Thursday, we're back into the low 40s. It's not going to be like the low 50s that many of us saw today, so it's still going to be nice. I do also expect some sunshine out there for Christmas Day. And it's Friday. Friday's the day that we're mostly concerned about. Obviously, the icon says it all. You're going to have the potential to see all types of precipitation as the storm moves on through. Saturday, we get back to quieter weather, 40s for highs. We'll also see the 40s again on Sunday with some rain showers possible. And then as we move into next week, that's when we're looking at finally the colder air to return with highs falling back into the 20s. So not terrible travel weather unless you're traveling on Friday. Friday's weather will impact travel locally by car. It will likely also impact some flights across the area, or just even getting to the airport. So keep an eye on that. But anytime, of course, you've got a system rolling through, that can really slow things down across the area. So again, I want to play through what we're looking at. I'll look at Friday's system here. It will bring us some showers starting early in the morning. We'll likely start off again with a mixed bag. Snow mainly north, and then a majority of us will be in the pink region, which is the freezing rain or even sleet, and then closer to the state line, more so with the freezing rain, and then potentially just rain if we can get the warm enough air to come all the way into the region. But many hours expected of those temperatures at or below freezing at the surface, and then above freezing higher than the surface. So quite a few hours likely of some freezing rain, which would lead to, again, ice accumulation across the area before eventually the system moves on off to the east and out of our region. Looking at a good chance to see at least more than 1/10 of an inch. And then there is also the potential that we may even get more than that, more than 1/4 of an inch of some ice as we get into Friday. Again, travel concerns will be the biggest thing to look forward to, or not forward to, just look at, be prepared for. I also want to backtrack back a bit. We're also looking at a chance for a little bit of light freezing rain, but more so just rain. as we get into your Wednesday night, mainly starting after about 11 o'clock. Light rain showers, light freezing rain possible. So if you're going to a late church service, be prepared for potentially a few slippery spots on your way back. I don't expect this to be, again, heavy. It would be light in terms of shower coverage, but it doesn't take much to create some slippery driving conditions. And then we'll keep that through the very early morning hours of Thursday. By sunrise, though, Christmas Day, we'll be back to dry weather, and we should get some nice sunshine across the area. So keep an eye on that. This is a look at your Wednesday ahead of all that going on. We'll have increasing clouds, a cooler day overall. And then again, Christmas Day will be a little bit warmer. And then Friday is the day that you're going to watch for the potential, of course, for the icy conditions across the area. If we do stick with just snow up towards the tip of the thumb, some of those totals too could be more than 2 inches of some snow. As of right now, this isn't looking to be that big of a snow event for a majority of us. This would mainly be north of I-69 that could have some of that snow greater than 2 inches. It would look potentially, as of right now, to be more of an ice event for us, which is never fun to forecast. Honestly, I hate talking about ice events because there's nothing good with them, right? The snow can be pretty. Rain, you know, we usually need it when we get it, but the ice is just a nuisance. It's dangerous. We don't need it. So that's, though, again, what we're looking at for Friday. Larry's saying, any chance the system may shift again, or is it more locked in? Definitely can shift. I mean, this is one of those systems, so this is why winter weather is so hard to forecast, because a shift of 50 miles, which is not very far. I'm trying to think of a good range. 50 miles is not far, but a storm system shifting 50 miles is also not very far, but that can drastically alter what you see in your particular spot. So you could go from seeing a lot of sleet and freezing rain to potentially just seeing rain. Or if it's 50 miles shifted farther to the south, you might just see just snow. So that's, again, with the system, it's really going to be dependent on the exact track. But as of right now, there is good agreement now in multiple models that this storm will move through, and we're likely to kind of be split across the area. Where those exact lines develop, those will definitely waver some, but we're likely to be split across the area with better chance for snow north, up towards the thumb, a mixture in between, definitely heavier on the freezing rain, and then towards the state line, hoping to nudge in more warm air and get more rain rather than freezing rain with that system. Great question, Larry. Yeah, winter weather is one of the tougher ones to forecast here because it's so dependent on a storm track too. And every track, even every track the storm takes, two storms can take the same track, and just based on the dynamics within that same storm, they might produce something different too as well. This case also, it's going to be determined on your temperature, specifically where you're at, because say you're at 33 degrees, well, you're looking at just rain. But if you're at 32 degrees or 30 degrees, you're looking at freezing rain. So it's really going to be pockety too with temperatures, because our temperatures do vary a bit, and quite a bit, if you go even within a 5-mile radius of your particular point too. We have those little pockets, those little valleys that can be colder, or those little areas that can be warmer too. So that's also going to determine kind of what we see. But as of right now, definitely looking at more of an ice event with this system. But again, I'll kind of go through what we're looking at. I'll start this off. If you're just joining, keeping a lookout for what we can expect ahead. We are looking at clouds increasing for tomorrow, for Christmas Eve. We will also have a chance for some rain overnight Wednesday into early Thursday morning, and then also a chance for some freezing rain as we get into Christmas Day, mostly to partly cloudy skies. I do expect more sunshine, not as much as today, but still a nice amount on Thursday. It's also going to be mild with highs in the 40s. Our average high this time of year is 35, so we are going to be warmer than that. And then Friday's the biggest concern with the snow, sleet, rain, and freezing rain potential. Before I run this through, let's see what we've got. Michael's saying warm tonight. Yeah, we saw 50 stay. 53 was the high today in Detroit. We're eventually going to fall into the upper 20s by tomorrow morning, so it is still going to be cold tonight, but enjoy the nice evening outside right now. Let's see. So I did get asked about how much ice accumulation. What I can tell you right now, and we'll go through this, greater than 1/10 of an inch is looking likely now. Greater than 1/4 of an inch is a possibility. I would not say it's likely just yet because that's really track dependent, but it isn't off the table. Greater than a quarter of an inch, maybe up to a half an inch is a possibility with this system. All right, let's get back to the forecast and we'll put things into motion here. All right, we're quiet now. Tomorrow we'll have increasing clouds throughout the area. And then once we get into the overnight hours, a weak system is going to slide just to our south, but it is going to bring us the chance for some rain and freezing rain, mainly after about 11 o'clock tomorrow night, all the way through about 4 o'clock in the morning. So you can see the pink here, that would be potentially freezing rain, and the green would be, of course, just rain. The good news about the stuff tomorrow night is it's happening during a time where hopefully many people are not on the roadways and really shouldn't be. And then also we are looking at the precipitation to be on the lighter side. So I wouldn't expect much, if any, accumulation, but still could be some slick spots. So just don't rule that out if you're traveling late tomorrow night or early Thursday morning. Otherwise, by sunrise Christmas Day, we're looking at drier conditions. I'm mostly concerned about what's to come on Friday. This storm system is not as light. It's not as quick in and out, only happening between a couple hours. This storm system will be here Friday morning at this time. Our forecasted lows as of right now are around about 30 degrees, so 2 degrees below the freezing mark. And so as the precipitation arrives, which is along a warm front, where you have warm air that gradually goes over, let's see if I get my hands in here, warm air that gradually goes over cold air at the surface, that leads to freezing rain potentially. So we are looking at the potential for that as we move into your Friday. And the concern is that there could be many hours of freezing rain or sleet. And when you start to see that, that leads to more and more ice accumulation potential. So you can see right here our region, this again is the GFS model, is split in thirds. We've got up here the snow. Pink here is a mix, which is likely going to be a mixture of sleet and freezing rain, but potentially more on the freezing rain side, especially for a good chunk of the region. And then green here would be rain. Now, as we put things into motion and continue throughout Friday, even into the afternoon, we do see the snow line push north, which should be expected because, again, this is a warm front. So eventually looking at more warm air coming through even closer to the surface. So that would push the snow line north, but still a good chunk of the area potentially struggling to get above the freezing mark, which would lead to more sleet or more even freezing rain across the area. There are some indications, though, that we may actually get more of the rain edging in. Best chance for that will be south of I-94, but still looking at likely a few hours, if not quite a few hours, of a mixture of some sleet and freezing rain. And when you have all of that, that could lead to, of course, ice accumulation. So this is just one model out here, but I will tell you, this is why I was saying 1/10 of an inch is likely as of right now, as long as the storm takes this current track. But this obviously here is showing about 3/10 of an inch to 4/10 of an inch of ice potentially. So this is a possibility if we do continue to hover at or just below freezing and we continue to see the moisture rolling through, because we'll still have that warm air aloft that either melts everything completely, so it fall as raindrops and then freeze at the surface, or even when you've got a mixture of freezing rain and sleet. Sleet is melted snowflakes. So it starts as snowflakes, goes through this air, melts, and then refreezes, and it makes the pinging kind of sound as it hits the ground. That's also ice. That will also accumulate out there. So there is the potential that we could get more of that. And when we do start to see totals like this becomes more of a concern other than just driving. Driving will probably be the biggest impact if you're driving around the area at all. But this could also lead to some downed tree limbs and potentially a couple power outages too. As of right now, I don't expect it to be widespread, but still something to be cautious about, because we're also a couple days out. So just to prepare for this and keep an eye on your Friday with this system there, but definitely not out of the question. If you're wondering why we're not seeing much up towards Port St. Lucie and Port Huron, in this region, there's a much better chance for some snow, looking at maybe even more than 2 inches of snow with this storm as it comes through, and we'll see how that goes. If you notice here, there's no numbers, but there is a lighter expected amount because we should see some changeover to rain going on farther to the south. Thank you for the question. Susan asking, when is this for? Friday. Friday will be the biggest concern with this week. We were almost going to make it through this entire travel bit totally fine, but Friday's system was originally going farther to the north, which put us in the rain. That's why we weren't initially talking about it last weekend, but now it looks like the storm's going to track more over us, which would put us in this middle ground between snow north and rain south, and unfortunately that means sleet and freezing rain are a high potential for Friday. So again, if you're traveling up north, if you're just traveling locally, just again, either wait till later in the day on Friday, or even already just be prepared that you might not be able to go anywhere until Saturday, just because conditions will be much better on Saturday. Warmer temperatures are expected and the storm will be off to the east, so we won't even see anything falling from the sky. Yeah, hopefully that helps. All right, any other questions there? If not, I just wanted to give you guys an update. As we get there, Mike and Hallie will both be in, kind of continuing to track this as we get closer. Great news is tomorrow's weather's pretty good, and then also Christmas Day's pretty good. Just that slight chance again for some light rain, freezing rain Wednesday night. Minimal to no accumulation expected, but Friday is the one day you're going to watch. This upcoming weekend, not bad either. I know I've got some rain showers there on Sunday. Shouldn't be too bad too, as of now with that system, and then some lake effect snow possible Monday. So for us, that would be, you know, not anything too concerning. It'd be more of a concern farther to the west. So that is what we are looking at in regards to our weather for this future. Of course, stay posted with us. We'll continue to keep you informed and let you know of any changes, especially as we get closer and closer to the event. Right now, it's just kind of more like a, hey, pay attention to Friday, especially if you already had plans to go do something on Friday. Just know that you might have to alter them a bit or just allow extra time to get where you may or may not need to go. I should just say where you may need to go. Anyways, I'll leave that 7-day up for a little bit longer. I hope you guys all have a good rest of the day. Let's see, Christmas Day is clear for South. Oh, wait, real quick. Susan just said Christmas Day is clear for Southeast Michigan. Yes, Christmas Day, totally fine. Low 40s, mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies. So Christmas Day, totally fine unless you're leaving before 4 a.m., which I hope no one is. And that will only lead to the potential for a few slick spots. But the day, fine, we will be above the freezing mark shortly after sunrise, and then highs will be near 40 degrees, maybe even some low to mid 40s, depending on how much sunshine we get on the day. So not bad. Okay, anyways, I will leave that 7-day forecast for you. Continue to ask any questions that you have, and we'll, of course, will continue to keep you informed here at 7 First Alert Weather. So yes, all right, have a great Tuesday night, everyone.